there was an article that I saw, and it ain't got nothing to do with over here in the U.S., but I thought it was worth discussing. Let's see if I can pull this up here. So if I hit that screen there we go. So hopefully when I hit this button, y'all see my screen, right? Yep, see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this comes from directnews.com, I believe was the name, Direct News. And the headline says, Iceland approves a 4-day work week in 2019. Now, nearly 6 years later, all the predictions made by Generation Z have come true. And this struck a chord with me because when I was at Twit, I think it was it might have been 2020. It might have been the weird year 2020, now that I think about it. But the Laporte family was like, no, it wasn't the family. It was Lisa, the CEO. She's like, we should go to a 4-day work week. Just like that. And of course, Mrs. Laporte was like, no, we like the flow. And she's like, no, we should do a 4-day work week. And I remember thinking that could be problematic, but she broke it down to all of us and talked about how, yes, you work 1 more hour in a day instead of a regular 8, you work 9 hours. Okay. But you don't lose any pay. So you essentially end up working 36 hours. What's that? 9 times 4, 36.
Okay.
So you essentially, okay. Yeah, it is 36 hours. You essentially work 36 hours in a week instead of 40 hours in a week. Mm-hmm. But you don't lose any pay. Mm-hmm. The only problem that I had concerns with was just the flow and the load. You know, I know how much effort it takes for me to get stuff done in a 5-day week. Mm-hmm. So now I'm squeezing it down into 4 days. Is that going to make things harder? And come to find out, it didn't. Mm-hmm. It got to where everything just felt just as easy, except during holidays. Because when we had holidays off, we still needed to make sure shows were going out and things like that. So then we were crunched down to 3 days. Mm-hmm. So putting 5 days worth of work into 3 days, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but this story here, according, what is this? What was it in Iceland? Yeah, Iceland. Everything worked out perfectly. More people started to accept it. 86% of participants expressing strong support for this new arrangement. This overwhelming positive response propelled the program from experimental status to official implementation in 2019. And today, nearly 90% of Icelandic workers enjoy a 36-hour work week instead of the standard 40-hour work week. You have thoughts on this because you have seen both sides of the whole workforce thing. Okay. You've been in the service industry for the most part. You've done, whoops, I hit the wrong button. That might help if I do this that way. You've done the service industry for the most part. You've done like hospitals, stuff like that. You've been in restaurants back in your early days or whatever. What? Really, dog? Did you really need that much attention? What's up with that, dude? Jeez. So you've seen the varying perspectives. You've been in the corporate America side.
I think that, I don't know. I like the 4-day work week, especially with physical labor. Yeah. I like the idea of it, but like you said, it's just, you still got to get it done. And no job that I had, it didn't. When I was there, I didn't have projects to complete.
You didn't have like some type of production.
No, while I was there, it was those hours on the job, and then that's it. I didn't have to really go home and do other work or work. You know what I mean? It wasn't I didn't really have those things because I wait tables. We were done. We were closed. Went home. Same thing in the restaurants. You leave, you're done, you go home.
Yeah.
The hospital, you don't really have projects. You go home, but it would, even working in the hospital, I worked 3/12s.
Yeah.
At that one point.
I was going to ask about that.
That was nice. I think it would have been even nicer if it wasn't on graveyard, what they call graveyard over here. If it wasn't on third shift, it would have been even better. But 3/12s, you really do work 4 days still, even working 3/12s, because one of them days are going to be spent doing absolutely nothing.
Because of the crossover? What do you mean?
Because you're tired. 3/12s, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything on that one day. You're exhausted. So it's sort of like you still are unavailable for 4 days.
Cinder Fractal as she says, I worked 3 to 11. Is that third shift? I'm going to allow you to answer that.
No, where we're from, it wasn't. It was second. That was called second shift. Out here, they call it swing.
And see, that's different to me.
Yeah.
Because swing to me is something that I experienced. I've done swing shift. I didn't know they defined it differently over here.
I don't know. They might not. I didn't. Swing shift over here, I've heard between 3 and 11 and 6 and 2 or something like that p.m.
Yeah, I heard the 6 to 2. Yeah,
something like that.
6p to 2a.
Yeah, and we had that over there too. But more so, second shift is 3 to 11 or 2 to 10 or them hours that I absolutely hated. I hated second shift because I had children.
Yep.
And it's like right in the middle of the day.
Yep.
You got to stop everything. I don't even like going to doctor's appointments at 2:00. I don't like doing things in the afternoon. You know, I like to get it early in the morning if I can. Yeah. And if it's the end of the day, that's fine too. But yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to do it, but I don't. Over here in the United States. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe for the bougie, the rich, because you know the rich get richer and better benefits in that area. But I don't know how.
I loved it at Twit. I did when they put it in. I absolutely loved it. Especially for someone like me, it turned into a 3-day weekend. Period. Mm-hmm.
And it was like that when I worked my 4/12s.
Yeah.
I mean my 4 days at Grayton.
Yeah.
I did that for a while. It was good.
And then, so third shift for us is typically like midnight to 7 or 8 a.m.
Not really midnight.
Typically.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Typically it's midnight to like 7 or 8 a.m.
When I did it, it was 11 p to 7 a.
Mm-hmm. And then the swing shift side of it, and this is what I lived through, was I had the 4/12s. Well, no, it wasn't 4/12s. It was a 12-hour shift. For 30 days, I would work 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just a 12-hour shift. And then after 30 days, I'd work 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then after 30 days, I switched back to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It was just swinging the time difference, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that worked out because you'd work 12 hours for 2 days in a row, and then you're off for 2 days. And then you work 3 days for the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you're off for 2 days. And then you work 2 days again for 12 hours. And then you're off for the weekend. So you eventually ended up having weekends off. You would split having 2 weekends working, 2 weekends not working. Like that. But then you have to, like right after your weekend off, depending on the time of the month, you need to train your body to get ready to shift, to go from 8A to 8P to 8P to 8A. And I did that in the textiles, and it was send a fractal like firefighters
and nurses. Some of the nurses, do that too. But...
Whoops, wrong button. They it was like that, and I at the time, this was younger Aunt Pruitt, and a little bit more in shape, I guess. It didn't really bother me doing that. Plus, not to mention the job that I had at the time, it was in textiles, and it was just super freaking easy. I literally walked around with a clipboard and notes and a flashlight. I had the easiest job. People hated me so much. People hated me so much on that job.
But if it's at night and that's all you got to do, I'd be somewhere passed out.
Well, let me explain. So it was textiles. So that meant we were creating various yarns to go out for shirts and other different materials and whatnot. And hold on, I gotta stop the press because I see a super chat has shown up. Looks like, yep, Ozone Nightmare, $20 donation. What's up, brother? He says, hey fam, and happy Wednesday, Pruitts. Can't hang out live as I gotta go get dinner ready, but I hope all is well. Movie recommendation for everyone is Frankenhooker, a masterpiece of New Jersey trash filmmaking. He's been talking in Patreon. I believe one of his comments in Patreon was about Italian filmmakers, how they can really make something weird and off the wall, or really make something really great.
My gosh!
So there hasn't been much of a middle ground.
He's really good with sitting through them too.
Yeah,
but he
loves.
He likes it though. That's the difference.
He's so weird. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you being here. And have a good meal. And can't say that I'll be watching Frankenhooker. I can't. But yeah, the textile thing. So the whole process is literally taking these raw materials, these polymer chips, and melting them down and sending them through this process to where it comes out to be a piece of thread, a piece of yarn, or what have you. And that process is pretty thorough, but then you have the people that are working the lines. They're working on the machines that are just watching this thread come from the ceiling and making sure it gets wound up on these big spools, And so that whole process it could be pretty tedious because they got to make sure the spools are just right. It can be hot where they are because they're melting down these raw materials. So they're all standing there with these super hot things. And yeah, it could be a pain in the ass for those folks. And again, it's 12 hours at a time. And they get this stuff and put it on the spools, and then they shoving them off somewhere else, and they're heavy. And then you see me come walking up with a clipboard, and I'm just taking notes, and and I just walk off because I remember I applied for that job and got into the interview, and again it was just. It was almost like you don't belong here kind of thing is what they said to me. So let us offer you this role instead. And so I ended up working with the actual engineers in the plant. And so what they needed, why are you laughing at me?
It just made me think of a time where I was on a job and some people told me I didn't belong.
Oh yeah. I know that story. But we'll have to let you tell that story post show. That's what we'll do. We'll leave that in for Patreon. I know that story. Good gosh. But so they hooked me up with. They had like 3 different engineers there, and they explained the job was basically we need you to collect all this data, and then go and watch the process, watch the yarn and how it's going onto the spools and all. It was dialed in. And there was a computer room. This is how old this place was. The computer took up the whole damn room. It's just massive, and wasn't no mouse. It was just, it was just switches and buttons, and it was
And that took a genius to operate, I'm sure.
So, yeah, you had to learn the procedures of making that computer work to do what it needed to do as far as making sure this valve turned on outside and that kind of thing. So I was able to work with that. And when it was running good, I literally just walked around for 12 hours. And when I was working the night shift, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. or whatever, and it was running good, I was going up to the roof. I went up to the roof and just look at the stars and take a nap. And I had a little pager because if a machine went wonky or whatever, it would set off alarms. And so I had all of these alarms that linked up to this little pager. So if something buzzed off or whatever, I could dash down the elevator. Nobody else had elevator access. Nobody else had elevator access but the engineers in this, Yeah. Cinder Fractal says lying down. Yeah, pretty much. And we'd go down there and
sidewalk supervisor.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much like the sidewalk supervisor. It was a great gig. I ended up getting laid off because of the textile industry is what it is, you know. So I got laid off right before Christmas. But it was a good time though. Yeah, so folks, let me know in the YouTube comments your thoughts on a 4-day work week if you would be down with that. I would totally be down for it. If I were working that type of gig ever again, but right now it's not necessarily what you and I would be doing. We're in the gig life, so we take these invoices when we can get them, that kind of thing. And if it's Monday through Thursday and that's it, cool. We're just going to be there Monday through Thursday, and if it's only a Saturday, we'll take it because it's a nice paying invoice. That's just nature that we're in at this particular moment. I don't know what's going on my throat. Oh, the allergies. That's what it is. Anyway, this is Everyday People doing everyday shit.